Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Pythonic Accountant. In this video, we're going to show you how to create your own general ledger and trial balance. Now, we're going to do a very simple example, but this is going to be pretty cool to show how with a very few lines of code you can create the structures necessary to basically create a super simple accounting system. So for this one, we're going to use a built-in library that is new with Python version 3.7 called dataclasses, and we'll also use the pandas library. So to create a data class transaction class, well, first we have to import the libraries, and then we create a transaction class. So that is with the keyword class. We're naming it transaction. And the data class, the @data class, means that we are using what's called a decorator to turn this class into a special kind of class called data class. And what that allows us to do is initiate it very easily. So all we do is we tell it what fields we want it to have. So for this one, let's give it a date, and then we can tell it what type we want. And let's go ahead and instantiate it with just a placeholder date right here. Then we want account, and account is going to be, let's make it an integer, and we'll just automatically make that a 0 account to start. Description, it's going to be a string, and then finally we've got the amount, and that will be a float. And now we've got a transaction class. So let's see what happens if we just create a transaction class without feeding anything into it. And there you've got all of those preset things that we gave it. And I think you should be able to access those as well. There you go. Now what if we actually want to give it some data? Let's say date is 1/15/20. Actually, I've got to put that in quotes. Let's give it account number 1010. Let's call that account cash. And let's give it an amount of $100,000. Now you've got a transaction with all those amounts in it. So let's call this A equals transaction. So now you have access to A, the transaction, or you can do A dot amount, A dot description, and pretty straightforward. I guess that should be account title rather than description, but we'll leave description for now because that works fine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a class called General Ledger where we can feed in multiple transactions. We're going to have General Ledger be able to create a trial balance. So the main thing that goes into a General Ledger is a set of transactions, and that is a list, and that is going to be a field. Actually, that's a list of transaction. Let's see if that works. Field is default factory list, and then we're going to do the trial balance function or method. Let's actually zoom this in a little bit to make it easier to see. So the trial balance method is going to start by creating a data frame, and we have to turn the transactions into dictionaries. So as dict transaction for transaction in gl.transactions, and then we're going to return a pivot table where the index equals account and description, and values equals amount, and agfunc equals sum. Let's see if this works. So we're going to actually create a list, a general ledger with one transaction in it. So we'll do transaction. Let's just feed it A. A is our transaction. And let's make it 2 A's. And I need to make this a list of 2 A's. And let's see what happens. Cool. It looks like we've got the first transaction here and the second transaction here. So that looked like it worked. Let's see what happens if we do trial balance. Oh man, that's cool. Oh, we forgot one thing here. That looks nicer. So you can see that our A going in there twice worked. So let's actually replace that with a couple of other transactions. So let's start our list. We'll do transaction, and we'll do another transaction. Let's do accounts payable, and make that negative 100,000. And then let's see, I have to end that one. And sure enough, now we've created a trial balance using these two transactions. And let's just, for fun, copy those again and show that it actually doubles the amounts. And that should work. So now you've got a working general ledger, a working trial balance, and an output that you can export to Excel or CSV. So maybe not very useful. There's much better accounting systems out there, but kind of a cool way to apply Python for accounting. So if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and like the video. And if you have any comments, please leave a comment. And have a nice day.